How's it going, John?
It is going well. How about you, Eric?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
So, a question for you. What is special about today's episode?
So, I wrote something special. I was going to surprise you. Is it the same thing? I wonder.
Oh, see, you're something special. I wrote that I was intrigued because I already know you didn't have turkey dogs for Thanksgiving. So
correct. No.
We'll see if your something special and my something special are the same.
That cryptic note was so I didn't forget to mention 52 times 3 is 156.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. We have a winner.
That's funny. That's so funny because I was totally like, I had to remember that to do this because I don't know. I feel like every sort of anniversary-ish type thing, I like totally forget about it. And then a couple episodes later, we're like, oh yeah, by the way, wasn't that our 2-year anniversary or whatever? And so. But yeah, hey man, 3 years, congratulations.
Yeah, that's a long time to that's actually a long time to not actually miss an episode too.
It's a little freaky, I think.
We've had a few guests over the last 3 years, guest hosts, I suppose.
Yeah, back when one of us could go on vacation.
Yeah.
Or two. But yeah, I feel like we might have. Did we have one episode where both of us were recording from not non-strange places, from strange places? I don't know.
I think more than one.
Okay.
I mean, I know there's been a few times where we've both been traveling for work and both been in a completely different city, but it was work-related travel. And I know I've done it while I've been on vacation. I think you've done it a couple of times when you've been out of town.
I have. I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the kind of cool thing is that, we're mostly doing this for ourselves. and we appreciate the fact and kind of, that some people do listen. Thank you. Really, that's nice. But, I enjoy it. And I'm having fun with it still, so hopefully you are too. And
yeah, absolutely, it's fun.
It's kind of a cool thing, and the family is very familiar with it's Wednesday night.
Yes, it's not Wednesday night; it's podcast night.
Exactly.
Is the dinner table? The boy will, hey, can we go do X, Y, or Z? And then he'll think about it and go, oh yeah, sorry, podcast night.
Exactly. That's funny, huh? Yep. So all good. Well, congratulations on 3 years. Here's to 3 more. And
there you go.
Yeah. See what we do. How about Thanksgiving? What'd you do for Thanksgiving?
I was about to ask you the same thing. So my Thanksgiving, I think I mentioned last week that we ended up not going and doing the whole family thing. We stayed local and just the 4 of us at home. We did Zoom calls with, family. I will say, I think I had also mentioned that I was going to try doing something different with the turkey this year.
You did. Did you cut it in half?
Yeah. Oh, so it was a full turkey breast with the bones and the backbone and the neck and the skin. And I mean, it was like pretty much a turkey, but without the legs and the insides and the wings. And yeah, it was not just what I had imagined in my head, a turkey breast, a big turkey breast. So anyways, so I had to cut it up.
Okay.
And I split it into 2 and we did the sous vide, and I did a simple marinade, not marinade, just I guess rub is more accurate. Just kind of salt and pepper and olive oil on one. And then I did some similar but John King Farms honey turkey on the other one. And so I had a honey, and we marinated them overnight and then did them in the sous vide. And it was some of the best turkey I've ever had, if I can pat myself on the back. It was so good.
Really? So you sous vide them both. You didn't do one and one.
No.
Okay.
I took the two halves of the turkey breast, right? The whole rib cage. We took one, the two pieces off, cut it in half, put one in each with two different ones. One was a honey marinade, and the other was just kind of salt and pepper and some olive oil, and sous vide them both so that when I took them out, we chopped them up for Thanksgiving. They weren't very big. After the size of the 8 pounds, it was not 8 pounds, and we did that. And I am not really a turkey sandwich eater, but I have been chopping up the leftover turkey breast this last week for sandwiches because it was so good. I have discovered that is pretty much going to be my recommendation every Thanksgiving from now on.
Interesting.
It was not dry, and it was so easy. The hardest part was cutting it off the bone.
Interesting. I recommend a boneless turkey breast.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could optimize your process a little bit more.
I can do that, yeah. Lessons learned for next year. But the other thing that we tried was I took the turkey skin because it still had, all the skin on it, and we stretched that out on just a baking sheet and kind of salt and pepper, and then baked that.
Okay.
And essentially made turkey crisp, whatever.
What are those? What's
pork rinds or whatever they are. Pork
rinds, all right, fine. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I want to say Kotlin, but I'm like, but no, that's Android.
No. And
I'm sorry.
I have never. I did it because it was part of this recipe. I found that, hey, if you still want the smell of the turkey, because sous vide turkey breast doesn't really give you that oven roasted turkey smell, right?
Oh, okay.
In the house. So I thought, well, we'll do this, and if it doesn't taste good, who cares?
It's like your Glade plug-in. I'm sorry.
Exactly. It made a nice smell throughout, a turkey baked roasted turkey smell throughout the house, and it tasted like bacon.
Ooh.
I mean, it's not like it was, this is turkey and it kind of has a hint of bacon. It just tasted flat out like bacon.
Huh.
So if you ever want to try something with just turkey skin, I have a recipe for roasting it in the oven, and essentially it becomes bacon.
Okay, then.
Crispy bacon.
Yum.
So,
okay.
It was not bad at all. Not bad at all.
All right. Well, now we can. That's the end of the Eric's Food Network portion of the show.
Oh, come on! You need to talk about your hot dogs and s'mores.
We also were. So did I mention last week on the show that we were gonna go to the coast?
Yeah.
And I forget if it was on the show or not. But yeah, I mean, we figured if the weather was nice, because we're not hosting, we would just go and go out to the coast, make a fire, cook some hot dogs, have s'mores, and come back, in the same day. So not staying anywhere, just go out, make a fire, have, Thanksgiving dinner, and come back. So I will say that I carefully, in order to prepare my meal, I carefully cut the hot dog wrap and took out a hot dog, stuck it on a stick, and put it near the fire.
I still am slightly disappointed they were not turkey dogs. You could have at least done turkey dogs for Thanksgiving.
To be fair, my wife had a turkey dog. Wife had a turkey dog, so she would have been Eric approved meal. But the boys and I agree that turkey dogs are sadness on a stick. So, no. So there's been a couple of times where, because we do lots of hot dogs, because we generally camp a lot, and there's always hot dogs over the fire, and there have been a few times where I've had to sort of buy the non Well, my boys are spoiled. I'm spoiled. That's just what it comes down to. We really like Hebrew National hot dogs, the all beef, super, super good. They seem to be, it used to be there were 8 in a pack, then there were 7 in a pack, now there's 6 in a pack. The hot dog to bun ratio is now 3/4. But a couple of times we've bought, sort of just had to go and get hot dogs at a local store, and sometimes at the coast on a 4th of July weekend or something like that, the store shelves are bare. And you're like, well, I guess we're having, whatever the, bargain value, whatever hot dogs there are. And they are so sad compared to
Bar S turkey dogs.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. No.
I know, because I think those are probably in our fridge.
No, I don't like turkey dogs. That's okay. It's good. Anyway.
Well, as long as you had a nice time with the family for Thanksgiving, that's all that matters.
It was good. We got a bit of a late start, and yeah, we FaceTimed with family Thursday morning for a little bit, but then we got on the road, went for a nice little hike. It was just wasn't a super long hike, but it was, and then made a fire. It was nice. It was awesome.
Well, you want some something fun follow-up?
Yes, I read that link. Well, no, not that link.
So the first one, the Utah Monolith, I think was my something fun last week, or one of my multiple something funs last week.
Yeah.
Wikipedia already has a very detailed article on the Utah Monolith and the fact that it was taken down and who took it down, with video links and everything.
They have who took it down?
Currently, they are unnamed people, and since it's on private land, federal has said we can't prosecute that. Local sheriff has to do it, and the sheriff has said we're not going to waste our time trying to hunt down who took down an illegal monument off of someone's private property, unless the property owner requests it, or there has been damage, or et cetera, et cetera. So. Anyways, if you have not read about the Utah Monolith, we'll link the Wikipedia link, which has all the news and notes you could ever want to know about the Utah Monolith. And I'll throw in a little plug here as well. Wikipedia, donate to Wikipedia. I don't donate a lot. I think I do $20 or $25 every year, but I think I get at least that, and probably a lot more use out of Wikipedia, just as an encyclopedia, a source of knowledge of things, science-y and whatnot. So if you can, go check out Wikipedia and donate. They have links right when you go to any page of Wikipedia right now during the month of December. And if you work for a company that does a company match, they will happily help you do that too. So,
all right, I will. Hold on one moment. Hold on one moment. I have to sign in. Come on. One password. Do. Pay now. There you go. I donated to Wikipedia on air. There you go.
Well done.
That's the first time that Wikipedia, at least this year, has popped up the "Hey, donate to us" link for me. And I know I've given them money in the past, but you're right. Wikipedia is awesome. So there you go.
Well, there you go. And then my second piece of follow-up is just this came across. It's not really related to your something fun last week, except for the fact that it's related to the LoRa wireless networking.
I did not know that.
So Amazon Sidewalk. So to know what Amazon Sidewalk is, that is a neighborhood long-range wireless network that they are going to be rolling out later this year, and it's based on the LoRa network.
I did not know it was related to LoRa. I saw some stuff on Amazon Sidewalk over the course of last week.
And so there are plenty of articles to link to, but the one I threw in here was from Hackaday, and just mostly because I loved the quote here. It's in referencing the Amazon Sidewalk and privacy, and it's that neighborhood thing. The question on the lips of skeptical readers will no doubt be this: what could possibly go wrong? Right? If you have a wireless network that any random device that is pushing, data over the LoRa protocol, I suppose call it, what could possibly go wrong? So it will be interesting to see how this rolls out, because it appears from Amazon you'll have to actually create a device or run essentially your TNN network or TTN devices, whatever that website was last week that you mentioned.
Oh, the Things
about
Network. Yeah.
The Things Network. You have to basically run a hub for an Amazon Sidewalk hub, which is essentially a Things Network hub, and then various cameras and doorbells and whatnot, Echo devices, your Amazon cylinders can potentially connect to those. So there you go. A little
LoRa follow-up.
I will foresee a future topic around the Amazon Sidewalk Network in the future. Maybe by episode 180.
Oh, you're even putting an episode boundary on it.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll never remember that I said that in this episode, so.
I won't remember to hold your feet to the fire either. That's okay.
So those are my follow-up items this week.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I have an iOS night tonight because my topic's going to be iOS related, and I have a piece of follow-up that's iOS related because in 3 episodes ago, in 153, I talked about the 4 iOS 0 days that were caused 14.2 to be released, or that were fixed in 14.2. And this link that we'll put in at chapter art for this particular segment is a link to Synactive post, but it is an attempt, or not an attempt. It is essentially reverse engineering at least one of the 4 vulnerabilities. So, and the cool thing about this, one of the cool things about this is, the logic that he's using. That's actually the fun thing I enjoy about this is watching the sort of the tools and following the thought process in how to deconstruct something and find the issue, and then reconstruct and build up a exploit chain of some sort. So in this particular case, let's see, he had to get down into the mock message structures, and had to figure out a way to basically get a buffer overflow using, let's see, in the kernel. So you had to get it to allocate a message with a particular size, a small size, and then dereference it using a large size. So you got your buffer overflow. So anyway, it's a cool article about that has a bunch of internal data and data that I didn't know really about. I mean, I know a little bit of mock in theory, ironically, because we actually studied it in my undergrad operating systems course a very, very, very long time ago. But it's kind of cool. And, one of the cool things about it is, I guess it's one of the reasons probably why Apple's been so Objective-C focused for so long is, it's messages most of the way down. So anyway, so it's a cool article and a cool kind of exploration through mock messages.
Right. Right. Nice.
So that's cool. All right. How about a topic? What'd you bring me for a topic tonight?
So my topic I picked this week is, well, the title is Forget Snow Day. It's a ransomware day.
Oh, so bad.
So I know. Students in Baltimore, Maryland were informed that they would not be going to school for a few days due to a ransomware attack. It's a variant of the Ryuk ransomware, and unfortunately, the authors decided to go after a school district. And so all the kids were basically told, don't use your computers to connect to school. School is off because the district got infected, and we don't want to, propagate the infection by having everyone connect. And then after a couple of days, and this is the brutal marketing message if you are on the wrong end of this statement, but the school district came out and said, we now know that school-issued Chromebooks were not impacted by the cyber attack. You may now safely use your school-issued Chromebooks and school Google accounts for students and staff. Please do not use any school-issued Windows-based devices until further notice. So brutal there if you're not on the Chromebook side of that marketing message. So there's not really a whole lot of details. I think we've talked about just ransomware in general and
a lot
how people are going after. But apparently by today, they were back up and students were back in class. So I seem to recall something in the not too distant past. I thought it was Baltimore as well, either the school district or the city. Maybe it was the government got hit with a ransomware attack. So maybe they're taking lessons and learning and being able to get people back up in line. But one of the quotes I did appreciate and empathize with from one of the teachers in this article is, these people who would infect school systems with ransomware, especially in a time of COVID when school systems and teachers are under enough pressure as it is, should really have their own level of hell devoted to them. I can fully appreciate that sentiment. So
yeah, and let me just add hospitals.
Yes,
school district, hospital, small government. State and local county governments are, they don't have the budget. They don't have the budget, and
right. So there you go. That's my topic is, I wonder if that is going to be more common as we kind of finish out this everybody's at home, school from home thing, if there will be more districts with ransomware days instead of snow days.
I saw, this isn't the first for sure. I remember seeing something that come through in the last few weeks as well that, I don't think we pulled up as a topic, but ransomware as a business model is only getting refined. It's refined a lot in the last couple of years, but especially this year with kind of the ransomware as a service operators.
Yep.
It's pretty bad. Hey, one other thing, I'm just going to kind of mention it in here because you mentioned Windows and Chromebooks kind of in the same sentence, but this is more follow-up kind of from the Apple M1 topics. But I saw a link today. Somebody figured out how to run the ARM-based version of Windows on the Apple M1.
Yeah.
And it runs, at least with the benchmark, twice as fast as on Microsoft's own Surface Pro X, Surface Pro 10 hardware.
I can only believe a move towards ARM on Microsoft's part is not unlikely. Did I use the right double negatives there?
Yeah, the other thing with that I read this past week about the M1, I've done a lot of reading this past week. There was a bunch of things that we could have talked about this week here, but was TensorFlow has been Apple did a custom build of TensorFlow that took advantage of their machine learning hardware in the M1 chip, and so. Yes, the M1 is way faster with way less power, just in general, general benchmark. Again, these benchmarks are all synthetic to one extent or another, but in benchmark tests. But for machine learning, with TensorFlow, it's basically then 7 times faster than the Intel-based MacBook that it was being compared to. So I don't know how that compares with GPU-based training,
right?
And I didn't see that, and I'd be curious to see what the the benchmark was with like a GPU-based AWS instance or something like that. But anyway, just it's pretty doggone impressive for a fanless MacBook Air that's now you can train your model in TensorFlow 7 times faster.
Yeah,
pretty impressive.
And just throwing on the sidetrack here, Amazon introduced Mac OS images that you can run on EC2 now.
Oh, right. Yeah. I saw that. This week is AWS reInvent. There's been a bunch of Amazon or AWS announcements this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I saw that. They're gonna have racks and racks of Mac Minis. What was that? Mac Mini Colo?
Yeah.
Except
they just buy Mac Mini Colo. Yeah.
One thing I saw about that, I hadn't realized it before, was the minimum duration that you can lease that for is basically a day, something like that. So, where most EC2 instances, you have like 6-second billing, essentially. There's like a 24-hour duration on that. But you can spin up. I saw another response to that says, yeah, but you can spin up as many kind of quote unquote instances on that as you want. So, if you want to use it for a continuous build system, it's still reasonable.
Right.
Anyway, yeah, that'll be cool. That'll be interesting. Maybe next week I'll have to pay it, use my topic time to go through some of the AWS announcements, because there's been some good stuff, some interesting stuff at least. But tonight is not that night. Back
to our regularly scheduled, mostly part.
Okay. Security-ish related. So, my other iOS topic. So this is a Google Project
Zero. It's a short one.
Oh my gosh. I feel guilty kind of having this as my topic here in some ways because of a couple things. The first of which is that there were definitely parts of this article that I had to skim. And there are definitely parts of this that I don't understand yet. I'll say yet. I'm not sure that I will ever. But this is a zero-click radio proximity vulnerability for iOS. And meaning that essentially if you walk in range of the radio transmitter on, that's running this exploit, your phone can be hacked. So, and completely compromised. Couldn't run whatever code they want on your device, and can read anything on the device. So contacts, email, whatever.
No user interaction, no nothing. Just somebody has to get within some number of feet of your device, and boom.
Yep. To also be fair, this has been fixed. So this was, it was disclosed and fixed before being released. But this is I saw some tweets by the guy afterwards saying that, hey, by the way, if Apple wants to donate the bug bounty, wants to pay a bug bounty for this, he'll arrange to have it donated to charity.
Right.
So that would be awesome because I'm not sure what Google's stance on bug bounties are. Google Project Zero stance on bug bounties is. I probably should know that, but because I'm sure they have one. But this is a long article. There's a ton of great info. There are a ton of segues that any one of the segues could be a huge article and great learning in and of itself. Yeah. There are, at least 3 videos in here. Kind of the first one just kind of showing crash, a kernel panic, able to, walk within proximity and it'll kernel panic any device. But the later ones showing, him popping calculator on the phone, and then the final one, with showing the full compromise. This is
stealing photos off the device. Yeah.
Yeah. This is one person. And he said 1 person, 6 months. And although at the intro of this, his comment was, the takeaway from this shouldn't be that, well, 1 person was able to do this. It's that, nations around the world have far more than 1 person able to devote these kind of resources if it's desired. And the space for vulnerabilities is huge and only growing. So, there's so much good stuff in here. So the first kind of thing I pulled out is, the way that he was able to use this or do something at all is due to the fact that, there are wireless protocols that are run by the devices continuously, right? I mean, it's Wi-Fi. Everybody's familiar with quote unquote normal Wi-Fi, right? You pull out your phone, you connect to a wireless network that's broadcasting generally, right? You go to settings and choose a Wi-Fi network, but behind the scenes, you don't have to. That's one standard way of connecting to things wirelessly, but there's other standards, but one of them is what's called AWDL, or Apple Wireless Direct Link. And if you've used things like if you're in the Apple ecosystem and you use things like AirDrop, that's not done over Wi-Fi. I mean, it's done over Wi-Fi, the sort of radio spectrum, but it's not done over a normal Wi-Fi connection, right? Because you can airdrop things to your friends, even if you're not anywhere where there's a wireless network, right? Or even if you're in a place where you're not connected to 2 wireless networks. And that's done through this kind of direct mesh, network, ad hoc network that can be set up or is set up locally. And so so there's a whole sidebar in here about AWDL, which is awesome. Tons of good stuff to read about it. But one of the cool things about that I pulled out that I hadn't really realized earlier was how unusual it is for Apple and Apple devices to listen to 2 networks simultaneously. Because generally, I guess in wireless chips, you set whatever the channel is, channel 6 or channel 32, and that's the channel that it's listening for packets on and what it's transmitting packets on. But with the Apple, and it's combination of the hardware and the OS software, but we'll set up this separate network, and then it uses basically availability windows, right? For a few milliseconds, they'll listen on this other channel, and if there are packets destined for your MAC address on the regular Wi-Fi address while it's listening on the other channel, it's as if those just didn't get transmitted over the air, right? They don't get acknowledged and they'll get retransmitted because, general wireless or Wi-Fi is, assumes some level of packet loss. So they kind of take advantage of that and intentionally ignore packets in these availability windows to listen to basically two things at the same time, because they can't listen to two channels at the same time without two receivers, I guess you'd say.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. I didn't really grok that internally, and so that's fun. And a second kind of segue in here is all about dtrace, which I've heard of, but I haven't ever used because I'm not a systems guy anymore. And when I was, it was a very long time ago. So dtrace is a dynamic tracing framework built by Sun, for Solaris back. I didn't catch when it was initially written, but it's been ported to a lot of other platforms, and it's shipped by default in macOS. And so, but what you can do with dtrace is you can essentially write scripts that configure almost like hooks for when you want to log things. And so he was able to use dtrace, and he has some sample scripts in here, both for explicitly what he was doing to try and trace these AWDL packets, but also, just some general things. So, basically he can then say, hey, whenever this kernel function is called, log it and log a bunch of the data with it. Oh, because I guess that I didn't actually mention that at the beginning, because, doing something like this requires that you have hardware to force the packets over the air in the way that you want to.
Right.
But in order to do that, you really kind of have to get some low-level access to the transmitter, because you want to force some, you're trying to force specific content in the packets to trigger, a buffer overflow, or trigger a condition in the receiver that you want to take advantage of. And in order to do that, you have to be in full control of the packets, and that's generally not the case without some hardware. And so, part of this whole experiment was also finding hardware that supported things that he needed, and getting software working to, allow him to trace that out. So, for example, one of the funny things that was in this dtrace section was he learned there were actually two functions that were translating the AWDL packets, and one of them was rejecting him, even though he thought it was correct. And he figured out using dtrace that the problem was in the MAC address that he was using to say, I think it was the source MAC address. He had copied and pasted some code basically, and the MAC address that he had from the sample code had. And I didn't even realize this was the case, but it had a multicast bit set in the OUI of the MAC address. So, MAC addresses have the header is a OUI that basically identifies the, who the MAC address was. I know you know this because you've done a bunch of stuff with MAC addresses over time, but I didn't realize one of the bits in the OUI says whether it's a unicast or a multicast. And the parser for this packet format was rejecting him because the MAC address he was using was a multicast. Anyway, just like so many problems that he had to figure out and solve and kind of work through over the course of literally 6 months, right. Which is just tons of stuff. Okay, so the third one, and then I'll just kind of go on from this, is the third one. The third kind of sidebar on this is in the A12 and newer, A12 and A13, and I presume the A14, but at least when he was doing all this, the CPUs, the CPUs have this notion of a pointer authentication code, which because one of the problems is, and there's been other solutions, there have been other platforms like historical platforms that have the ability to say whether a pointer is executable or not. But that's essentially similar to what this is so oftentimes what you want to do in order to get code, you code your code to run, if you can write your code somewhere in memory and then update a function pointer somewhere so that it basically points to your code to execute instead of wherever it was initially, that's one of the ways that you can get your code to run, right? But with this pointer authentication feature, you can't just trivially replace a pointer in a function vtable somewhere and then have that work. You have to figure out, a way to get the signature to match for that function in that function pointer table. So, so there's all these problems that, they're security features, right? But, every security feature has some sort of a workaround or, people are motivated and the attack surface is large. So anyway, there's tons and tons and tons more detail in this article. At the end of the day, I mean, he had to go in for performance reasons. He had to go and get a bunch of, wireless devices to try and find one that the driver and the device itself supported sort of active measure. Anyway, there's a bunch of good stuff in here. And like one of the items that you had to figure out was, in order to make this happen for any Apple device, AWDL, the wireless direct link, has to be enabled in the first place. And it's not enabled by default. And by default, you can only airdrop to people in your contact list. So, how do you get a device to listen to packets you're transmitting on this AWDL device if it's not enabled by default? You can try and trigger it with, there's a negotiation that's with Bluetooth Low Energy, BTLE or Bluetooth, that basically says you can attempt to say, hey, you want to set up a AWDL with me? But if your contact info isn't in there, it won't actually do it. So, but you can force a hash collision basically in order to test whether or not you're really in their contacts. Over Bluetooth, it's just a portion of the hash. So if you can force a hash collision, then the sort of the victim phone will wake up far enough to go enable AWDL and then attempt to negotiate a real connection, assuming that you're really in their contact list, which it will fail. But at that point, the AWDL is enabled and you can be owned. Right. So, yep. And but Apple at some point in time in recent history, there was an exploit against that. And so there's rate limiting on there. But, basically by being patient and limiting attempts to about 1 a second, he was able to force a hash collision on average in about 30 seconds. Because it's really just the first couple of characters of the hash have to match. Right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he gets his implant installed. He can read or write anything on the device. And then here's really the kind of coup de grace is, at least hypothetically, you would have to package all of this up into an iOS executable. But the phone itself is capable of all of this traffic, the things that he used all the devices for. So it's hypothetically at least wormable. So in that particular scenario, right, you compromise one phone, put your gadgets on it, and then every phone that comes in proximity to that phone becomes another kind of Trojan horse, worm. That's what it means to be wormable for an exploit, is that I can infect your device, then your device can infect something else, and it travels through the world.
It's digital COVID.
Could you imagine digital COVID? Oh, there's my title right there. Sorry, that's awesome. Can you imagine the reputational and damage that kind of a defect could cause?
Yeah.
I hope Apple gives him his bug bounty to charity.
I look forward to reading which charities got the $1 million bonus here.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, anyway, that was a lot. This article is so long, so detailed. Kudos to Ian Beer.
Well done.
Anyway, good stuff. Okay, man. How about something fun? What'd you bring me this week?
My something fun. Since I already kind of did 2 something fun follow-ups.
Yeah.
I'm stealing. I think I stole from a friend of ours, Dan, threw this in our Slack, and I think I stole something fun that Dan posted a little while ago too. I'm stealing yet another one. So this one essentially is the Star Wars intro creator. So the iconic Star Wars introduction with the toilet paper scroll going up the screen into infinity, right? With, episode 1, episode 2, and then the description.
Yeah.
You can type whatever you want in there. You can change instead of having it say Star Wars, you can change it to whatever you want, Spaceballs, and put your episode title and your paragraph of text and hit generate, and it will generate the whole Star Wars title sequence for you, along with music and the final scroll down to the under construction Death Star. So that is just a fun website to go mess with.
Super, super cool. I hope that the audio didn't just come through, because I was like, is that going to have audio on it? Yes, it did, because I just did it.
Yeah, and
we'll see if it comes through on the edit.
You can download the video if you want to. You can download the video that you create. I didn't, it's requesting, give us some money. If you like this and you want to download the video, give us some money and we'll generate the HD version. I'm sure there's a free version that's just standard def or something or smaller, but I didn't get to that point. I just played around with it a little bit. And
what this kind of stuff is awesome for?
What's that?
Presentations.
Yeah.
When you want like a good intro slide or something like that for your presentation, you can, put it in something like this and then.
And if you look at the website off to the right, it also has Game of Thrones intro creator, Westworld intro creator, Stranger Things intro creator. So they haven't just done the Star Wars one, although Star Wars is probably the easy one for most people to recognize. But you can do whatever kind of creator you want. And if you have Bitcoin, you can pay them in Bitcoin. So
that's pretty cool.
I don't think I've said Bitcoin on the podcast for several months.
Oh, it has been a while, hasn't it? It has been a while.
All right, there you go. That was my something fun, which I totally stole from Dan. Thanks, Dan.
All right, that's awesome. Okay, I have one kind of something fun in the Eric. It's actually not fun vein, and then I have a real something fun. So my actually is not really very fun, but is homage to the Arecibo Observatory telescope, which collapsed like 2 days ago.
I saw that.
So this is most people. I don't know. Maybe most people. I don't know if most people have seen the movie Contact, but this is one of the places that she goes. And it is a gigantic 1,000-foot wide dish in a valley in Puerto Rico that had how big was it? It said a 900-ton equipment platform suspended 500 feet above the dish. So basically, right. So this is what they were used to send radio or radar out into the. They could bounce things off of asteroids. They said but the evidently a month or so ago, a cable broke that was holding this 900-ton equipment platform up, and the NSF, National Science Foundation, said that. Let's see, it said. The Arecibo Observatory had been slated last month to be withdrawn from service, with the NSF citing risk of an uncontrolled collapse because of failures in the cables suspending the platform and its huge Gregorian dome above the 1,000-foot wide reflector dish. So, but, overnight must have been 11:30, November 30th. It crashed, and I haven't seen further info about what
Right.
I don't think anything can be done to resurrect it. That wouldn't have been better to do before it collapsed. So I think it is done for.
Which is too bad.
Yeah. So it was, let's see, the one comment about this was, I pulled two other things out of here from the article. One of which was the idea for the observatory was conceived in the late 50s by Cornell University professor William E. Gordon, and that the site in Puerto Rico was chosen to take advantage of the vicinity to the equator and the topography, which provided a nearly spherical valley. So they minimized the excavation. So anyway, I'm sorry to have seen that happen. And not fun. The real fun thing is, I don't know if you saw this one before, but this is...
I did not.
The tens of thousands of Ice Age paintings across a cliff face in Colombia. So this is awesome. Awesome. So sorry, I should read my notes instead of just opening up the article to reread the article. But so, quote unquote, evidently there's going to be a special... Do they say what series it was going to be on? It was discovered earlier in the year, but they kept it secret while they filmed a... What did it say? This discovery was made last year, but has been kept secret until now as it was filmed for a major Channel 4 series to be screened in December, Jungle Mystery Lost Kingdoms of the Amazon. So it is... it is... Let's see. Where is it? Here's my quote. Hailed as the Sistine Chapel of the Ancients, archaeologists have found tens of thousands of paintings of animals and humans created up to 12,500 years ago across cliff faces that stretch across nearly 8 miles in Colombia.
Wow.
Their date is based partly on depictions of now extinct Ice Age animals, such as the mastodon. There are also, which hasn't roamed South America for at least 12,000 years. There are also images of the Paleo llama, an extinct camelid, as well as giant sloths and Ice Age horses.
What's an Ice Age horse?
I don't know that.
Oh, I have something to Google now.
You can Google it. I don't know. I'm going to guess a really big horse. So let's see. I think the one other kind of big quote I pulled out here, but then you kind of got to go read the article, look at the paintings. I cannot even figure out how have they survived for 12,000 years. One of the most fascinating things was seeing the Ice Age megafauna, because that's a marker of time. I don't think people realize the Amazon has shifted in the way it looks. It hasn't always been this rainforest. When you look at a horse or mastodon in these paintings, of course they weren't going to live in a forest. They're too big. Not only are they giving clues about when they were painted, that in itself is just mind-boggling, but they are also giving clues about what this very spot might have looked like, more savanna-like. Because this is deep inside the Amazonian rainforest, right? But 12,000 years ago, it wasn't a rainforest.
It wasn't something to be deep into.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway.
I'm going to have to read this article now.
This was my real something fun. Exactly, right? You, Mr.
Me and my love
Mr.
of
Documentary
documentaries.
Man. Yeah.
Exactly.
So check it out. Oh, shoot. Oh, gosh.
Bang.
All right, I'm going to have a third something fun. And I won't too much about it. Just go watch Human Nature film. Human Nature film? Was it called Human Nature film or just Human Nature? It's on Netflix. Called Human Nature, but it's about CRISPR. It was awesome. Oh,
I did see that. I did see that.
Okay.
Yeah, I put that on my to watch list, but yeah.
I forced the whole family to sit down and watch it with me. It was awesome. That was cool.
Did the family think
They
it
did
was
not
awesome?
object. They did not object. No, they thought it was cool too.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was good.
Alrighty.
All right, that was long. It's all
Yeah.
good. My turn to edit. I'll take care of things.
Yeah.
All right, Eric.
All right.
Have a good rest of your week. I'll talk to you later.
You too. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.